Hi, once again, I'm Sydney, and I'm a servant of the Almighty God. Today, in this episode of Recognizing God's Omnipotence, I want to talk a little bit about something we will be hearing more and more. It's in getting in tune with nature. And when I think you have to recognize also that when you hear nature, nature really is the manifestation of God's omnipotence. Because as science has regaled us over the last number of years, and more you hear it, whenever you hear nature, you hear nature really is very intelligent. Nature has this immense capability to design things within our ecosystem. And I like to go to some of the things that we think are, again, natural, but these demonstrate the omnipotence of our Creator. Things like, I always say, hibernation, echolocation. Think about hibernation, right? It's crazy when you think about it, that something could kind of go in this semi-sleep state for up to 5 months, no food, no water, and survive. The animal did not give that to itself. This is part of the manifestation of God's omnipotence, and we see it around us. Look around. Every time you hear the greatness of nature and how much we can learn from nature, we are talking about the manifestation of God's omnipotence. And so getting in touch with nature, and some things I've been seeing, I look around on the web, and I see these different things, and what we're seeing is that a lot of people are having real, like mental difficulties, struggling, not finding peace. And I believe that a large part of that, and we see it in some of these, we see some cultures where they're realizing, no, you have to incorporate this spiritual being as well. Peace of mind. It's not just, you just say, okay, I switch. There has to be that peace. And when I talk about, we all have 3 components: the physical, the emotional, and the spiritual. We need to get those in sync. We need to reawaken our spiritual beings, our spiritual components, allow it to grow, and then we can truly be more in tune with nature, because nature is the manifestation of God's omnipotence. So when we go out and we feel at peace, we feel at one with nature, it means we are getting more in touch with our spiritual component, and that in turn allows us to be more in tune with the spiritual, the eternal. Remember this eternal. We exist in the presence of the living God. And so to be really in tune with nature, we must grow and reawaken our spiritual component. So it's not just a physical thing where we just say, oh yeah, that peace, that relaxation. And we know from all the scriptures that our Creator loves us. Our Creator wants us to be in this more enlightened state. And so as we hear more and more, it's like, one of the things that when I talk with some friends of mine, says, do you realize how much there are so many advertisements about being able to sleep better and, get rest. And it's about how much money you can spend on these new mattresses and all this kind of stuff. When really, I can tell you, because I can sleep anywhere. It's peace of mind. When you know that you are loved and you are in tune, and maybe I should start teaching this, the processes, because there is a process, and I talked about it in my book, Understand, Improve Self and Society, the process of calming the mind. But really, it's using your imagination. And what is imagination? When we go out there and we see things in our mind's eye, that's a spiritual thing. Because there is nothing, nothing in psychiatry or psychology can tell us that you can close your eyes and see things and get to places of peace and contentment and drop away all the things that we worry about every day, the things that we are concerned about. That gives us that peace and that ability to still the mind and not focus on everything else. That is what gives us peace, gets us more in tune with nature, and allows us to rest. And as we know, science shows, and medicine tells us all the time, when we are able to achieve that rest, we heal. That's something that is intrinsic to our bodies being able to heal itself. So you see how getting more in tune with nature, being able to find that rest and that contentment, we need to get back to that spiritual component growth that we all need to become more enlightened, and takes us to a place of, it uplifts not just our mental states, but our physical states as well. So it's something that we should all strive towards, getting more in tune with nature, reawakening our spiritual component, focusing, and the way to do that, it's not through some aggressive thing, because the ultimate achievement of the spiritual component is service, even unto sacrifice. This is where, when I talk about Haley, honesty, altruism, that's the reawakening of our spiritual component. Love and inclusion, those are the some of the aspects that we can build within ourselves that reawaken our spiritual components, because we learn to care. And by caring for others, we become more in tune with our Creator, who created all things. And so He created these systems that we observe in nature. And we may say that, yes, some of it looks cruel from our standpoint, but it's all part of an ecosystem that He's designed that goes forward, that He does not need to tweak like a robot, because He's designed it. This majestic design that we see from our ozone layer, to the vitamins like vitamin D, all the things that we need to eat, all the things that the herbs, the plants, the herbs, the animals, everything we consume, all of it is part of a well-designed system, and we can get in tune with that. But we must also, in order to really get in tune with nature, we must reawaken our spiritual component. And this is not just about, you see, when we see, like some religions, about getting rich and just comparing, I am better than this. And, I always say, whenever I talk with people and they ask me, well, do you go to church? I says, if church or religion makes you angry, you shouldn't do it. You really shouldn't do it. You want to do positive, uplifting things that make you go out there and marvel at His creations. When I observe, kids, and you see the potential, you realize there is a spirit that He has bestowed with all these gifts that we may not be able to recognize. When we see plants, we see animals, we marvel. That's, we become almost like children again, marveling at all the wondrous things that He's put around us. This is what getting in tune with nature. And you will find things like rest, and because we become more at peace. And we also know that we are loved. Our self-esteem is not so fragile that we are concerned about what everyone says. And no, because we know that we are loved. We are special to the Creator, to the Creator who we recognize nature, and really is that His implementation. We realize that we are loved, and so that gives us that commitment. I don't need anyone to tell me, well, you are this. No, I don't. I am loved. And some people may say, well, it's narcissistic, but really it's about self-confidence, because you feel loved all the time. This is what we can achieve by getting more in tune with nature. So I want you to really think about that. Whenever you hear nature, think about the manifestation of God's omnipotence. And so we can all strive to be more in tune. Learn to communicate directly with the Creator. We don't need intermediaries, because we have the message. The times we live in, the message has been disseminated so that we can all strive to have that personal between you and the Creator, between me and the Creator. All of the instruction, the messages is to enable us to get there. But we have it. We have it now. And so we can strive to be more in tune with nature, to have that peace, that love, that smile, those positive things that give us, that enables us to really enjoy this fulfillment and of this gift called life. I want to thank you for taking the time. And again, it's a series of decisions that you made that brought this to you. And I hopefully, as we go forward, we can all work to recognize and enable others to recognize that nature is the manifestation of God's omnipotence. I want to thank you again for taking the time. And until next time, may God bless us all. Thank you.